So I went to work then at Douglas, and I'm a draftsman for 2 weeks. And my chief, section chief, started through my background. And of course, it says all of this stuff that I had done in the Navy. So he puts me in this think tank. And there's where we get to the first think tank, okay? It's inside of Douglas in a walled-off area. And there's 200 guys in it. And we investigate every aspect of extraterrestrial, military, commercial, whatever. And I was assigned to design for the Navy about 16, 18 different classes of U.S. Navy battle group ships, which didn't exist. And these were, the larger ones were from 1 kilometer to 6 kilometer. These ships fly in space. They're spacecraft carriers. I designed U.S. Navy spacecraft carriers, which finally got built back in the late 70s up in Utah underneath the ground. And you've seen the pictures of U.S. Navy spaceships, Solar Warden. So Solar Warden came out of a think tank inside of engineering at Douglas. And a whole lot of other stuff came out. So we had a young girl, Nordic, just outside of Germany. Some people talked to her, and they said, you are now involved in a new program, and you're going to have great support in this program. She had developed, I think she had 8 girls. They were continually talked to telepathically to go and design spaceships. The little blonde actually built them. Eventually, 2 of those got over here in Area 51. But Germany found out about the blonde, took her over, stopped everything, and then got to this point where there was some sort of pressurized program by the SS to control that original group. Now, several times they did work together, but Hitler allowed them to operate independently of the whole SS program, the whole development. So we had 2 developments going on in Germany. The girls didn't want their vehicles to be used for anything else but travel. They were afraid that somebody would get a hold of it and they use it for military, which is, of course, what they got. But the girls finally ended up in Antarctica in the large facilities. In fact, the Reptilians had 3 massive caverns. They let Germany use 2 small ones. But when you're talking about small, it's like as big as California. And so there's cities in both the extraterrestrial caverns and manufacturing everything that you would need on a planet. So then Hitler's group did the same thing. 4 years before the war was over, it was decided that the war could possibly be lost, but if we win it, we still need to get out of the area because the Allies are going to bomb us off of the Earth and there won't be anything here left for us. So they decided to move everything to Antarctica. Admiral Byrd, they're going to down there and they were going to take out the whole thing in 1 week. The top people in every area of the Navy, best aircraft, best ships, best weapons, everything. And 5 weeks later, things didn't look very good. When we got down there, they had decided they were going to have 1 thrust from the west side of Antarctica and then the opposite side coming into both of them towards the center of the continent. And so before we even got all the guys around, and I'm talking about big 4-engine flying boats, okay, and ships, battleships and destroyers and submarines and you name it. Before they got there, these fairly large, they were 100-foot diameter saucers, came up out of the ocean and took down everything. Now, there's a misnomer on some documentations about the pictures of the photographs of some of the German UFOs. Many of the close-ups give you a little clearer picture of the cross on them. What was partially incorrect in that information that's been released was that not all of the vehicles came up out from the German side to take out ours, but from the large caverns on the adjacent to them, unmarked UFOs and unmarked cigars came up, which then it was a joint venture by the extraterrestrials that lived there, operated from there, and built the vehicles that went to the moon and Mars and all these other places. But we lost that war.